Hey, what's up, Internet? So today we're gonna go over another After Effects quick tip for you guys, and it's gonna be over fading in and fading out. Instead of usual 0 to 100% opacity like this, bam!
Mind-blowing.
Yes, bam! Instead, we're gonna use something called a Luma Matte using Fractal Noise to make a more uneven and disrupted sort of fade in, like this. Poof.
What year is it?
Be gone! See how interesting that is? You could do this for anything. Let's go check it out. All right, let's do this tutorial. So I've already set up the project file here. I just dragged in the footage, and then I also managed to get a clean plate, which is just, masked here. Super simple. As you can see here, I have the clean plate on, and then it fades out to reveal Carmichael, who was standing there the whole time, and then it fades back on to make him go away. But if we take that a step forward, we can use what's called a Luma Matte. So if I make a white solid, hit Control Y, and if you set this track matte option down here on your clean plate, set it to a Luma Matte, it'll source whatever layer it is above it, the luminance value. That means basically anything from a 0 value brightness, whiteness, to a 100% darkness or blackness. Pure white will make the layer below it completely opaque. Anything that is pure black will make the layer below it pure invisible. And if you set it to Luma Inverted Matte, it'll just make that backwards. It depends on your scenario. If I go to my white solid here and I change the opacity to 0, it fades in the layer underneath. Now this is where we actually get tricky. And I'm going to go up here to the Effects and Presets panel and type in Fractal Noise. And I'm gonna drop that onto our layer here. I'm gonna turn it back on, because whenever you set it to a Luma Matte, it automatically disables the layer above it. But we're gonna look at it for a moment, so I'm gonna turn it back on. Voila. It's just a standard run-of-the-mill fractal cotton ball noise. Nothing fancy about it. You can change the evolution, which is essentially just the seed for randomness, contrast, brightness and darkness, and this is where the key part of the effect comes from. Right away, I'm gonna set this to really, really bright, set a keyframe on the brightness, go forward like maybe a second or so, drop that down to really, really dark and to black. And what just happened here is a transition from pure white to pure black. So if we turn this layer back off and see our clean plate during this transition, you'll notice it kind of fades in with a bit of a pattern to it. But it's not very strong right now, so let's go ahead and enhance that. We can choose all different types of noises. You can choose strings. That's weird. Let's go with that. Your complexity, set that to 8. You can adjust all these settings as much as you want. You can even animate the evolution from 0 to 100, so you get like this weird stringy motion. Another thing I like to do is actually crank the contrast. When you crank the contrast, you'll have to adjust your in and out brightness points, but that's okay. So if you turn our fractal solid back off, we'll see that we now have this interesting little transition. And you can do things like add a mosaic to it to make it all blocky. I did that for the Superheroes vs. Gaming Heroes video for the energy sword that pops out. It's all very like digitized and sharp edges. You can apply this to anything. The Lord of the Rings putting on the ring of power to disappear. If you have any questions or you want to see anything else, leave a comment. We do read all of them. Can't promise we'll write responses to all of them, but we do see all the comments, so it's always great when you write them. And if you have any ideas for others, let us know. In the meantime, eat your veggies. Carmichael, you're getting really close. Hey.